Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here on the NOFSRL channel. Happy Friday everybody! First qualifying session on a Friday for the NOFSRL Cup Series is later today. We got the Turkey National Series as well here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. This is uncharted qualifying for the Braille Battery 400 in season number 10 of the NOFSRL Cup Series. Fourth race of the season coming tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time over on AG Racing. Definitely excited for this one. We had a fantastic race at Homestead last Friday night and should be in store for another great mile-and-a-half race here on the first weekend in March for 2021. Joined alongside Bradyn Wilmington for the call of the race and qualifying. And Bradyn, we saw what happened at Homestead last week. These guys were all over the place. There was a lot of passing. Do you think we're going to see that in tomorrow's race here in Las Vegas for the NOFSRL Cup Series?
Well, Homestead and Las Vegas, they might both be mile-and-a-half tracks, but they are very different from each other, especially layout-wise. And I feel like Homestead is more of a multi-groove racetrack than Las Vegas is. In Las Vegas, if you stay on the bottom, then you're pretty much set. But if you get up on the top, you're going to lose a lot of positions. So I feel like there will still be a lot of passing, but not quite in the same way that happened at Homestead.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it all goes down. Of course, we've got a race today over on AG Racing, the Turkey National Series, back after that week-long break. They'll be racing the Arco 300 at 6 p.m. today over on that channel. But either way, looking forward to seeing how this one goes down. Uncharted qualifying here, same set of drivers that attempted to qualify last week at Homestead, since we did not have a Turkey National Series race last week. It's John Andrews in the number 2, Will Parrish in the 21, Bradyn Perez in the 29, Andrew Williams in the 32, Marty Johnson in the 52, Scott Upton in the 55, Ben Crouch in the 76, Christian Vargas in the 80. Marty Johnson and Ben Crouch, they both qualified their way in to the Homestead race last week, so we'll have to see if they do so again. This is Scott Upton in the 55, first ever out on the racetrack here. And one thing I will say here, Las Vegas is a slower mile-and-a-half racetrack. They really have to get out of the gas through the corners here. They can reach speeds as low as 160 through the corners on fresh tires, and they only top out at about 190. So it's one of the slower mile-and-a-half racetracks we go to. It's a bit of a tight course here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, but definitely looking forward to see how it all goes down for tomorrow's 54-lap event. And that's Christian Vargas on the outside there of John Andrews.
Yeah, right now it is Scott Upton at the top of the charts, it appears. And also the 29 of, was that Bradyn Perez, you said?
Yes, it was. So Bradyn Perez looking pretty strong right now, too. But not everyone has clocked in a time, including the two guys who were fastest last week in Marty Johnson and Ben Crouch. So it looks like... watch out for those guys. You know, even though it is a tight course, I think drafting may be a little bit of a factor here. Watch out for the 80 of Vargas here, getting his second time in. He will improve, but he won't go to the top of the board. It's right now the 29 machine of Bradyn Perez and the 2 of John Andrews, the two fastest drivers. And it looks like Ben Crouch has clocked in his time. Will Perez is still yet to clock in the time himself. Marty Johnson goes to 7th quickest, but the times do improve as the session goes along. There's Will Parrish. He'll finally get his first lap in, and it'll be a 30.064. So it's still Perez, and now John Andrews, the fastest guy here in uncharted qualifying there for Buck Racing. Great run there out of the veteran driver.
Vargas has been climbing up the standings as well, trying to sniff the draft from the 2, but the 2 has been going faster than him, and you see he's kind of losing him a little bit going through turns 3 and 4.
We're going to have to see what Vargas can do in this number 80 machine. But as the session goes along, the tires are going to start to wear, and those fast times will start to go away. There's Andrew Williams, who won last time you were in the booth with us for the Turkey National Series at Auto Club. But you're going to be in the booth with us again tomorrow, or later today, I should say, and tomorrow. So you're going to have a lot of stuff going on here. In all 3 of my videos this weekend. Pretty cool. But number 32 there of Andrew Williams doesn't look like he's going to end up with a fast enough time. The 80 came close, but not enough. Marty Johnson here at a 29.907. He's got a bit of a draft on Andrew Williams here. This is probably going to be the last chance to knock off Bradyn, Perez, and John Andrews from the top 2 positions. We'll have to see what Marty can do here in this 52 machine. Will be his 3rd start of the season if he can qualify his way in, but he does not improve his time. And odds are they will not be able to have enough time to advance their time any further, as the tire wear has gotten a little too much to go any faster than the times that they have already clocked in. So with that in mind, John Andrews, Bradyn, Perez have 30 more seconds on the clock right here. Looks like those 2 drivers will be racing in tomorrow's Braille Battery 400 here from Las Vegas. They will also join the other 40 full-time drivers to qualify for the pole position here in the 4th race of the season. A good job there out of John Andrews. I believe this is going to be Andrews' 2nd race of the season. He qualified his way in at Auto Club, and he'll be in his 2nd event of the season here in the NOFSRL Cup Series. A good job out of John Andrews right there. Great job out of Bradyn Perez. It's going to be Perez's 1st career start in the NOFSRL Cup Series tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time over on AG Racing. John Andrews, Bradyn Perez advance on through uncharted qualifying. Let's go ahead and set the field for the Braille Battery 400 here from Las Vegas. And here we go. Ready to set the starting lineup for the 4th race of the season, the Braille Battery 400. It's always been the Braille Battery 400 too, here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. This race has had only one sponsor the entire time it's existed. Only a couple of races have had that. I know the Valvoline 400 is one of them, the Coke 600 is another one. Not too many races have had the same sponsor every single year we've run this series. Huge thanks to Max Newworth back in the day for giving me the name. It's stuck, and it's still the Braille Battery 400 here at Las Vegas. Either way, we're excited to see how this race is going to go down. It's going to be a great race tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'm definitely looking forward to the Turkey Hill race later today as well. But and to see where you start does determine quite a bit on how you finish at a place like this. Passing isn't going to be as frequent as I think we saw last weekend at Homestead. It's still going to be frequent, but not as frequent. But it should be a fun race either way to see how it all goes down. See if we can locate him. Our last winner here in the NOSL Cup Series. There he is, Ben Young, with that last lap pass at Homestead last weekend. And Bradyn, I know, you know, he's going to be in the booth with us for the race later on. We recorded that race before that Homestead race went up. He doesn't know about it, but how excited do you think he is getting that race victory last week at Homestead?
I'm sure he's really excited, especially to get it that early in your career, because he is the only true rookie in an uncharted car. And I can just imagine he's going to be real excited when he finds out about that.
Of course, that was last week, so he already knows about it at the time you guys are seeing this. But huge congratulations once again to Ben Young for his first career NOFSRL Cup Series win. First career Napa fan win as well, and in a pretty big race, too. He moved up 22 positions in the points because of that run. Pretty solid. Nathan Baird, top of the board in the 54 machine. The black schemes are back for Velocistar Racing, for Bartow Tuck Team Velocistar, at least for Troxel and Baird. For Shane Lake, it's a tribute scheme this weekend for the number 15 team. Some of you may recognize this as a scheme similar to the one Dan Weldon drove during the victory he had in the 2011 Indianapolis 500. And unfortunately, we all know what happened at this very racetrack later that year. But definitely a cool thing for Bartow Tuck Team Velocistar to do with Shane Lake and commemorating Dan Weldon 10 years ago. Almost 10 years ago when that happened. Kind of hard to believe, but hey, maybe a little magic in that 15 this weekend. Hasn't been the best of seasons to start off for Shane Lake this year. Currently sits in the 23rd position, so nothing too bad right now. Obviously, he came from behind last season to win the championship, so he's good at those positions, but we'll have to see what he can do this weekend with the Dan Weldon commemorative scheme. Eli Bright currently fastest. Hergel Urban Alonso second fastest. Trey Smith there. And now Sebastian Kukulon and Christopher Appleby go to the top 2 positions right there. Of course, none of the times yet have reached the time set by the fastest guy in... Actually, I think we might be a little close there. We might be pretty close to the time set by John Anders in uncharted qualifying, but I would imagine that we're going to get a little bit faster than what we're seeing right now. Number 12 machine, Brett Sear the second. Shane Lake, Owen Miles, Christopher Appleby, and John Andrews has a fast machine in that number 2. He just went to 4th quickest as an uncharted driver. We've already seen an uncharted driver win this season. What are the odds you give John Andrews of possibly winning tomorrow?
Well, he was fast in uncharted qualifying, and he's fast in this qualifying so far. I wouldn't leave it out of the realm of possibility for sure.
Of course, John Andrews is an experienced veteran. He's run a full season in this series before, so wouldn't be surprised to see it happen out of the Buck Racing driver tomorrow. Still Kukulon, the fastest driver, though, here in qualifying at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's Kukulon, Brett Sierra, Shane Lake, John Andrews, Owen Miles, Nelson Reeves, Ryan Durrani, who this is a hometown race for Durrani, so this is a pretty big deal if he can pull off the race victory here, and he's got a pretty solid, or he did have a pretty solid starting position. Oh, wait a minute, he just went to the top of the board. I'd say that's pretty solid right there. He was 7th, and I looked for him on the racetrack, and I looked back at the leaderboard, and he wasn't in 7th anymore. Well, that's because he went to the top of the board in the number 68 machine. How about this for the Las Vegas native of Ryan Durrani? Never won before in the NOFSRL Cup Series. Huge opportunity for him if he can win the pole for this race here in the Braille Battery 400.
Yeah, of course, it definitely will be. He's going to have to make sure that time stands for another 5 minutes or so. But like you said in the other qualifying session, the tires will end up wearing out, and the times will get a little bit slower. So I think Durrani's in a pretty good spot right now.
I definitely think he is, and he actually gapped the field pretty well right there too. 6/100ths of a second on Sebastian Kukulon right there. So we're going to have to see how that all goes down for him. A couple other notables in the top 10. You got Nelson Reeves there in 7th. Alphabet is 8th. Alexander Rowe is 9th. It has not been, in any way, shape, or form, a good season for Alexander Rowe so far. Comes into this race 40th in points. Completely different than how it was for him last year. And then Brad Stover there, rounding out the top 10. Let's take a look at the rest. There's Eli Bright. Ethan Lewis is there. Here, Jalarvin Alonso, LJ Semedo, Logan Williams, Nicholas Samadillo, Jordan Lopez, Salmon Oskin, Patrick Smith, Matt Dalio, Brock Nelson, Trey Smith, Gatlin Downey, Nathan Baird, Brandon Nelson, the 67 of Nathan Smith, Thomas Troxel, Mason Brown, Tristan Allen, Cameron Garlington, Keegan Thompson, Joe Rutkowski, Fisher G, Ace Garcia. The winner of this race last year, Jesse Turner in the 77, Nathan Stapleton, our last winner in this series, Ben Young, Cody Sill, Andrew Miller, Braden Perez, the 14 machine of Zachary Fitzwater, and Daniel McMillan. McMillan had a third-place run last week at Homestead. Very solid effort there. That propelled him to 8th overall in the points, moved up 15 positions with that great run at Homestead. We're seeing some guys come off the pit lane here, so I think some guys may be putting some fresh Goodyears on, possibly get a faster time here later on in the session.
And there's Jesse Turner right there, like you said, last winner of this event. And you mentioned how Alexander Rowe had a really bad start to the season here and how it was really good last year, and that's really just how quickly things can change in the NOFSRL Cup Series.
Absolutely. With the equal ratings, you never know what's going to happen. See if we can locate Alexander Rowe on the racetrack. There he is in the 25 machine. Of course, he won the 4th race of the season last year when it was at Phoenix. Did a great job in that race, and that was shortly after he won the Daytona 500 last year, but he's had his fair share of issues this year. Alexander Rowe is 40th in points. Only Trey Smith and Brandon Nelson, the only other full-time drivers who are lower than him in points this season. So the lowest veteran coming into this race, but we are still early on. If you look at Cup points, or at least how Cup points were before Homestead, because we are recording this race before the real-life Homestead race, Matt DeBenedetto only has 5 points overall. Corey LaJoy's got like 50-some. You know, early on in the season, you know, it doesn't determine the rest of the season. There's still a long ways left to go, and any of these drivers can still win this championship here. Don't think we have a clear favorite yet this season. Of course, one guy who has done a very good job to start off the season is Nelson Reeves in the 05. As a matter of fact, he has yet to finish outside the top 10 in his career here in the NOFSRL Cup Series, and right now, he's 7th quickest here in Braille Battery 400 qualifying.
Nelson Reeves has had an absolutely insane start to the season, especially for someone who is in their rookie season. Definitely looking to be on a hot streak heading into this race, and with that 7th place qualifying time. Looking to keep it going with a good start.
We'll just have to see what he can do from that 7th starting position. A lot like Auto Club, a lot more newer drivers kind of starting up front in this race. I do have a couple of veterans, including our defending champion, Shane Lake, there inside that top 10. But then you got guys like Nelson Reeves, Owen Miles, Christopher Alphaby. Those guys rookies to the series, all inside that top 10. Ryan Durrani's a veteran, but he's never won before in this series. But I'm sure he'd love to get his first ever win here at his home track. That would be pretty cool for Full Frontal Motorsports. As a matter of fact, Full Frontal Motorsports has not won in this series, as far as I know, since Season 8. In their debut season, they went winless last year, even though they had a very strong campaign with their drivers last year. 2 of their drivers made the chase. They didn't go to victory lane last year. Of course, they have gone to victory lane so far this season in the Smooth Fest with Eli Bright, but they've yet to win a points-paying race since season number 8. I can't remember if they even won then. I know they won a race in Season 8. They had Yepes in the 92 that season. There's got a little contact right there.
Uh-oh.
This guy's coming down the pit lane. There's going to be a wreck.
No, and they're crashing.
Thankfully, that does not affect the order that they will start in, but that's something we could see tomorrow. These guys, it's a tough pit lane to get in without these guys having some sort of an issue. That was Nathan Smith who got in the Ryan Durrani right there, and they went around. We could see something like that in tomorrow's race. We're just going to have to find out. But it does look like, even though he did just wreck here in qualifying, that Ryan Durrani is going to win the pole for the Braille Battery 400 here from Las Vegas. Great job out of the sophomore driver right there in Full Frontal Motorsports. They're going to have a good shot at getting the race victory here at Las Vegas in the 4th race of the season. Ace Garcia just moved himself up to 7th late in the session. That's the only change inside the top 10 late in the going here, and with Durrani heading down the pit lane, that will do it. Time's going to run out right there. Ryan Durrani will lead us to the green flag in tomorrow's Braille Battery 400. Sebastian Kukulon, Brett Sierra, Shane Lake, John Andrews, Owen Miles, Ace Garcia, Nelson Reeves, Christopher Alphaby, and Alexander Rowe. The top 10 starting positions for tomorrow's 54-lap race. Take a look at the rest of the results right there. Once again, a lot of veterans starting in the back of the field, a lot like how it was at Auto Club a couple weeks ago. Should be interesting to see how they fare in tomorrow's race. Tristan Allen, Cameron Garlington tied. Allen's got the tiebreaker on Garlington. Downey and Baird are tied. And it looks to me like I gotta find one of them in the points. There's Downey in 37th, and Nathan Baird is 25th. So Baird will be ahead of Downey. And I think that's it for the back half in terms of ties. We'll look up here. That's going to do it. So Nathan Baird will start ahead of Gatlin Downey, but other than that, that is how they will line up for tomorrow's Braille Battery 400 here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time over on AG Racing. But over on AG Racing, in less than an hour at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, it's the Arco 300 in the Turkey Hill National Series. Here, Jalarvin Alonso with the call of the race with Brandon Wilmington and Ben Young in the booth. Nathan Smith, pit reporter. Great race. Definitely recommend checking it out. Should be a good one for the 4th race of the season over there in Turkey Hill. Thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to Ryan Durrani for winning the pole. And we'll see you guys tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for the Braille Battery 400. I will see you guys later.